Hi everybody, it's Brenna Cubing here, and today I got a pretty exciting unboxing. I got this package from Zcube or zcube.cn, depending on what type of English you speak, and it's the first time I ordered from them, and I gotta say I'm really happy so far. I selected the cheapest shipping they had, but it still got here pretty fast. It took about 2 weeks and I expected it to take much longer. Their website is also very good. It looks really nice and you can view it in a lot of different currencies to choose the one that you're most comfortable with. And they have a pretty good selection and they add new cubes pretty often. They also have great customer service. They've always answered my emails very fast and given me answers to every question I had. So yeah, I'm really happy with them so far, and we'll see if everything is okay inside. I'll likely buy from them again because they are a very cheap store. They don't have free shipping, but even with added shipping, it's most of the time cheaper than many other places, especially if you select the cheaper shipping and can wait a little longer. I chose the cheapest one, which is China Post, and the puzzle and the shipping together costed just above $7. So that's very affordable for this brand new puzzle, because this is a very newly released puzzle, and I believe this is also the first stickerless puzzle from ShengShou. So we'll see how they can compare with other stickerless puzzles. I also think it is their first Master Morphics, and it's also my first Master Morphics, so I'm really excited about this one. Now let's stop rambling here and get it open. It's very well packaged and my knife is very dull. Here we go. There we go. Alright, this looks to be very well packaged. You can see there's some foam in here, so that's nice of them to protect it, because China Post is known for damaging the parcel somewhat, but they have protected it very nicely here. And let's see, a lot of foam. And here is a invoice and even more foam. Yeah, you can see it got a little damaged here, the box. It is a not so standard ShengShou box. There are no mechanism pictures, there's a scramble picture here though, and it has this nice pattern to it and a lot of nice and colorful illustrations and stuff, and the text has a somewhat different style. You can see this 3D bevel style instead of the regular flat one. So yeah, this box looks pretty cool. It's probably the nicest ShengShou box I've seen, but now let's get to the puzzle. So here it is, and let's see, we have some pamphlet in here as well. Let's take a quick look at that one. Yeah, it is a solution manual as usual. I've never sold Master Morphics, so it might come in handy. And now for the turning Audi puzzle. Yeah, it turns pretty nicely. It's very smooth. Yeah, it's super smooth. And here you can see it shape shifting, and that looks very cool. I've seen a lot of Master Morphixes but never had one before. So let's take a look at the colors. The yellow looks very nice. So does the blue. The green is pretty dark, but since the other ones are not so dark, that's okay. The red one is very nice too. I wish they had put a little lighter blue and green, but it's alright, it looks good, and it's pretty standard. So yeah, they can definitely make stickerless cubes, but if they want to make a stickerless speed cube in the future, I would recommend them to make it brighter, because color recognition might be a little hard on these colors, just as with their stickers. So yeah, it turns fantastically. Let's see if I done that right. Yeah, I'm not going to fully scramble it yet because I might run into some problems solving it. I think it will be pretty easy, but I can see some interesting parities that can come up with this one. Well, let's take a look at the pieces if I can disassemble it. Yeah, it was really easy. So here you can see, just as expected, the internals look like pretty much every ShengShou cube does these days. It is this Gu Hong type edge, and I would believe the corners are that style as well. Yeah, you can see. And here you can see how they solved the problem with that other stickless Master Morphics has had. They simply made a split corner. Very easy. And of course this corner is always the same color because it's a center corner thing. And let's see if we can pop off a center cap. Yeah, so this is how they solve the thing with center caps, because you can't dye a piece in two different colors and have a perfect line in the middle. So every centerpiece has two center caps. That's really simple, but really clever as well. And it's a good way to make a full colored one, which I think looks much better than the ones with the same color on all centers and all tips as well. So let's see if we can get it back. And the corner goes in there somehow. Let's see. There we go. So now I need to turn it 45 degrees. Like that. Looks really odd. And let's see, this one goes in that way. Yeah, so assembly and disassembly was really easy on this one, so it will be easy to lube and tension it. I believe it's tensionable. Looks like that. Seems to have springs. And the turning is really nice already. So now I will scramble this one. I'm not used to this, as you can tell. I'm not used to how it's supposed to be, but there we go. Oh wow. So yeah, this is basically a 3x3, as you may know, but it's shape modded, so some corners have 3 colors, some corners have 1 color. All edges have 1 color, these are the edges, and all centers have 2 colors. So your perspective will get a little skewed when you solve this one, and you may also run into some parities with center orientation and also edge permutation, because there are 3 edges on each side that look the same. So I will continue to scramble it, and then I will try to solve it, and I'll use it for a while, and then I'll get back to you with my review. Alright, I'm back. So I had this puzzle for about a day now, and I solved it quite a few times, and I gotta say I'm really happy with it. So let's just start with my thoughts on the Master Morphics, not this particular one, just the puzzle Master Morphics. So it was a pretty fun solve. As you may know, I didn't show it thoroughly in the unboxing, but I guess you know that it's a 3x3 shape mod, that it's shape modded into a tetrahedron. It has 4 sides, but it really has 6 ones, because you can see it has 6 edges, and it's an edge turner, so it actually has 6 turning faces, and each one of them, let's take one with good contrast like this one. You can see here these 4 pieces are what would be the edges of a 3x3, and these big tips here, as well as these small triangles that look like centers, they are the corners, and this is the center. So you can solve it pretty much like a 3x3, but there will be some problems. Of course, you have to think about center orientation, because you can otherwise end up with something like this. Where everything looks correct, except this center is flipped. So if you know how to solve a supercube, that shouldn't be a problem. What can be quite a big problem though is that all these 3 pieces, they look exactly the same, so you may think, oh, but they're interchangeable. Like on, say, a 4x4 all these 4 pieces are interchangeable, and the puzzle is still solvable if you switch these two. But since the Master Morphex is actually a 3x3, all these 3 that look the same, they belong in the position where they are right now. So you can't just switch these two and think everything will be alright, because it won't. You may end up with a weird situation like you have a permutation and all that needs to be swapped are these 2 corners, for example. And that's not possible. So then you have to reverse some of the pieces and try again. I guess there are also a lot of good algs for it, but I solved this one intuitively, and I was pretty glad to see that you can, because I'm really bad at coming up with algorithms. I'm just not that clever. But I was really glad to see that you can solve this one intuitively, although in some cases it's really difficult and it takes a lot of time, but I've never failed at solving this one, it just takes me a while, and I was really glad to see that, but I'll probably learn some more advanced stuff to make it more efficient. But yeah, it was a really fun solve. So now, onto this one in particular. You can see it turns really great. It is a very smooth puzzle, and no wonder, because as you saw in the unboxing, it is the same internal mechanism as it is on most Chengxiao puzzles, so it's bound to be very smooth. And it can corner cut a little bit. Let's see if I can do that on camera. Yeah, you can see it does corner cut a little bit. Doesn't really reverse cut though. And that's just because the internal mechanism allows for it. The way the pieces are shaped obviously isn't optimal for corner cutting, and you don't really need it in solves either. But it still turns fantastic. It's easy to do your algorithms, it just flows really nice and smoothly, and you can barely hear the puzzle. You can hear it a little bit, but you know, it's not a loud puzzle. And I did get some lockups on it, but that mainly has to do with my poor alignment. You have to be careful when aligning if you want to do a turn like this. You have to make sure everything is correctly aligned before you start turning another side. So that's not really a fault of the puzzle itself, but of the solver. So the colors, they're alright. Blue and green are really similar, they are too dark. In good light conditions like this one, it's not a big problem, but when it's a bit darker, let's see if I can show you. You can barely see the difference of the 2 colors. The yellow and red, though, are really nice. So I wish they'd put a little brighter color here. And the puzzle doesn't feel cheap. It might look a little cheap if you look, let's see if we can find one here. You can see the flash on the plastic on the inside when it starts shape-shifting, and that doesn't really look nice. Another thing is that you can see the inside of the center, but they haven't bothered to make the center one of the colors of the center caps. So this one has a blue and a red one, so a blue center internal piece is okay, but this one is green and blue, but the inside is yellow. So, well, it's now biggie, but I kind of wish they had put a green one here instead, but I guess they just make a bunch of them and put them in randomly because no one really cares, and I guess I shouldn't either. Just something to point out. If you're OCD like that, you might want to buy a stickered one instead and get rid of that problem. But yeah, for the price, I bought this one from zcube.cn for $4, and that's just, it's an amazing puzzle for that price, and I don't have any other Master Morphex to compare it with, so I can't really do that, but I would guess that this is one of the best ones. Seems like it is. I've seen others and they all seem pretty good, but this one is just awesome, and it's really cheap too, so if you don't have a Master Morphex and you want a stickless one, I would really recommend this one. Unfortunately, Chengxiao doesn't have a stickered one, so if you want that, you have to buy another brand, but I'm pretty sure they will come out with one because they usually do. In fact, they usually don't come out with stickerless versions at all. So now let me just show you some cool patterns before we finish this video. You can make it looks really cool on this one. So let's start with a basic checkerboard pattern. Alright, so this is what the checkerboard pattern looks like on a Master Morphinx. And as you can see, it almost looks scrambled, but when you take a closer look, you can see that it looks very organized, and I really love this pattern. So what else can we do? Well, we can take a look at the super flip, and I'm not going to undo the checkerboard pattern, so let's see if I don't mess up. So yeah, this is how it looks on the Master Morphinx when you combine the super flip. You can see all these edges are flipped with the checkerboard pattern, and it looks awesome. Let's undo the checkerboard so you can see a regular super flip. So this is the regular super flip. As you can see, these are all the same color now, but flipped, and it also flips the centers and just looks really cool. So this is a very fun puzzle to solve, and it looks really cool when you make patterns on it, and the quality of this one is great for a great price, so I would really recommend this cube. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you liked it, and if you did, you might want to hit the like button or subscribe to me, or just drop a comment. I would appreciate it. Thanks.